at who are your customers, the demographics, and then really market to your demographics. The real brand engagement, and that's, you're going to hear a lot about engaging your brands. You're going to hear a lot about content is king, and it's more than that this year. It's content marketing. It's just not the content. The content is evolving to video. Citizenship in journalism, and that's that you need to write content, and the more content you can put out, but it's got to be passionate, it's got to be engaging, and it's got to be meaningful. You don't want to say something just for the sake of saying things. On-demand services, you pay for them when you need them. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, increased internal marketing. In 2016, it's all about personalization and connecting with your audience, which is very, very important. You're going to see a lot of things being done on Facebook, but it's way beyond Facebook. Facebook, as you'll hear me talk about a little bit, is a great place to test. And when I'm talking about social, social is social. It means engaging. So online includes social media, but there's also stuff that is not social. That is just out there, but there's no engagement.
Right.
A website, for example. So for 2016 trends, let's talk about creating experiences. Customer experiences is the top theme. And what's really, really important about the customer experience is, again, it's the online experience that you share with your friends, and your friends share with their friends. And it becomes, from this person to that person, that increases your audience. Mobile optimization of websites is really important, again, so that your website can be seen on the phone, so somebody's not trying to read it and turning the phone in all sorts of directions, and I still end up doing that when I try and read content when I find things. And it's a sharing economy, when we share information, we share our experiences. So it's about creating experiences, putting on the customer hat, and again, you look for feedback. You want to react to your customer. If they don't like something, you want to find out why and fix it. Especially with a lot of the services out there. If you see somebody goes on your Facebook page and says, for an example, they had a bad experience, you really need to contact them. And you need to change that so that hopefully you can change the way they feel. And then you need other folks that have good experiences, so the one with the bad experience is going to fall to the bottom. So you want to get likes. You want to be able to advise. You don't want to tell people to do things. You want to advise that you had a good experience, or that something worked, or that you had a delicious meal at a great restaurant.
Right.
You want to create unconventional experiences, and these are things that you want to do around your business. So let's now look at some of the big trends. The biggest trend for this year is it's all about video. Video is the new form of content, and it is really exploding, to say the least. It's exploding. By 2019, video will account for 80% of global internet traffic. So oh, Melinda, I forgot to tell you, you're supposed to turn that horizontal, but it's okay. Because that's the way you watch television.
I've never done this before.
I started doing the video, and I've been playing with video, so it's a good time to have that conversation.
And mine goes horizontal for some reason. It doesn't like going. I'm Facebook living. Hello, Facebook group. Bye.
Hey, Facebook friends. Connect with me, Melinda Sigal.
See, shout outs are always good.
Right. Actually, and I'll talk about it later with some of the new things that are out there. I had a friend who got pulled over in Virginia, and she went live on it because she's not a WASP, is the best way to say it. And she didn't know why the police car actually called another police car. And she was live on Sunday on her video, doing it live from Facebook. And so I got on there, and actually Saturday, again, sharing experiences, which is really important. on Good Morning America, they had something about a guy in England who actually has started the service in New York City so you can fight your traffic tickets. And he's expanding it out around the country. But I actually took notes on my iPhone in Notes and looked at it and sent the link in her Facebook story. So 67% of American senior marketers say visual assets are essential in communicating brand stories. 58% of consumers consider companies that produce video content that they're more trustworthy.
Wow.
So again, it's all about telling a story. People remember stories. They don't remember just an experience, but if you tie an experience to a story, then it makes people remember things.
Right.
Video and imagery explosion continued, as it says on there. Very, very important that media wants more. And this is growing, so start experimenting. Do what Elaine is doing right now. Start taking videos of things. I think I first had a friend video me about 5 or 6 years ago when I was talking in front of the group. And it was great because I still have the video. You need to learn to edit and figure out ways to edit. I haven't gotten there. Or know somebody that can do those things for you. I do have the software on my computers, but that takes a lot of time. I'm more of a photographer, and I can pick pictures and make them look good. But that way you can edit and only use pieces of your video, and you don't have to have people listen to lots. What you want to do is make small videos.
2 minutes.
30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes tops. Our attention spans are not real good, and you lose interest. As I was saying, content is still king, but it's really content marketing. What businesses need to do today is learn to tell stories about your products and services. Learn experiences that people had. Have your customers tell stories.
Right.
And let them tell their stories for you, and then they will tell your stories so you can pass their stories on, and they can pass their stories on. 90% of consumers find custom content very useful. 78% of consumers believe that organizations, again, providing this content are really building good relationships. Is this going the right way? There we go.
Yeah.
Multicultural marketing, which I mentioned earlier. In the U.S., 93% of the population growth is multicultural. If you listen to some of the politics that are on right now and things that are going on, you really want to connect with all cultures. You don't want to just stay within one unless you've got a brand or product that just appeals to one market. Businesses will integrate a sense of culture and culture-specific brand experience with all forms of outreach. And what I mean by that is there are multiple touch points. So you might see somebody at a park engaging in a brand or a product at a fair, but then when they go home, they may reach for that same product in the refrigerator. They may then be out for dinner, they may order that brand, they may see that brand with other experiences. It doesn't have to be food, it can be other types of things. Depending upon your brand or product or service, even with medical services like a dentist, I mean, there's lots of ways to sample. Here's a great story. Growing up, even though I will never claim to have grown up, my best friend, her father was an orthodontist, and every year at Halloween, they gave away toothbrushes.
Yeah.
They had people, they were our neighbors, she was my best friend. And to this day, till the day she passed away, which is sad, she would always tell stories how she was jealous how other families on our street gave away chocolate and all they gave away was toothbrushes. But boy, that was memorable. And they had people coming from neighboring communities just to get their free toothbrushes.
Oh my goodness.
Customers of Dr. Brewer's. It was great. Digital first impression. You really need to make a good impression. If you don't, try again. Try to fix it. Go back and make amends. You can explain and say maybe you didn't know. Sometimes you need to respond a little bit more quickly than you're ready to respond. But if you've got a deadline, you've got to make some kind of a response. Make the response, but you can always amend it.
That's right.
Photos, videos, illustrations, people are visual. They don't like to read a lot of copy. Focus today too is on millennials, and we had an earlier conversation because when I put this presentation together initially, millenniums were defined as 1977 to 1995, and now I have been corrected, which is good, and I will go back and fix my PowerPoint, my presentation. It's 1981 to 95 still?
97.
97,
Yeah.
okay. And that's because they introduced Generation Z. And I don't know how many of you guys know about Generation Z, but I'll talk about that in the next presentation. There were some really good numbers that I think they will be 40% of the U.S. population by 2020. That's close. And that was the only number I remembered. Baby boomers, I will never forget because I am a boomer. It's 46 and 64, and the numbers go like that.
Mm-hmm.
They divided Generation X. They've changed it around, and I think it's still 65 to 76.
65 to 80.
Oh, they extended it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So things change, and my graphics need to change since I did this in January. So who are millennials? They account for 22 million people in our population today. You guys have all these stats in your decks, so you can look at them later, and if you've got questions, you can come back to me. But they will account to 1/3 of retail spending in 5 years, which is incredible. Soon, millennials will be 50% of the workforce, the largest generation by population size. But actually, Generation Z is going to pass them. Less traditional than other generations in regards to life phases, typical in order. They tend to have a variety of stages, lifestyles versus other generations. And they jump around a lot. Somehow I've always fit millennial. They are buying things, but they buy differently. They buy and save for something they want. They don't get something like boomers who have status symbols, other types of things. I may decide and I did when I wanted my Apple computer. I decided I wanted it. And it took me 3 years to finally get it, but I finally got it. And it took me another 6 months to get on the iPhone, and that was 5 years ago. But I just set my goals and I get there. So you really want to get personal with everybody. And by that, what I mean is that you really want to get to know your customers much, much better individually. What are their likes? What are their dislikes? What are things they do when they're not working? Where are other places they play?
Right.
These are good ways to build your business because if, for example, you like to do some of the same types of things, like I love sailing. I don't sail enough since we moved here because most of the sailing is Annapolis, but when we lived in Chicago, I could be out sailing and I would meet people and be able to get clients through things like that because people needed marketing. And it wasn't the normal place you would find people. I want to have a brief discussion right now, and maybe we'll start with a show of hands. How many social channels are you guys on? So what I think the easiest thing to do is why don't we do it by, if you're not on it? Who is not on Facebook?
I have some questions. So social media channel, you mean LinkedIn, Facebook?
Right now, yes.
Instagram, how many of those?
Yeah. And I'm just going to talk about some of the things that are popular, that are right, yeah. So who is not on Facebook? Anybody in here? I can tell you my husband's not. I can tell you that Tara, who was our banker, was not because she was not allowed to be on it for the bank. And she really didn't want to connect with her friends from high school. I don't know why, because she's in her 20s. But Twitter. Anybody not on Twitter? Twitter is a great tool. It's a great way to get your voice out and learn what your competition is doing. because you can follow your competition. You can follow people similar to you. And it's a really easy place to listen to other people's voices. Facebook, by the way, is a great place to test, and especially as you start to look at things like advertising. And I do want to do a social advertising presentation at some point in the future. I just attended one, and very eye-opening. There are things that you really need to know about the advertising that's out there.
Right.
And Facebook is inexpensive in the scheme of things, because you could say you want to find somebody that's engaged with purple hair and blue eyes or whatever it might be, and you're going to find those type. It will help you find that demographic, so then you can test things. You can test the ads, you can test colors, you can test the way that you're putting the words that you are using. There is something called an 80% rule, where 80% of the ad cannot be copied.
Right.
And if you have more than that, you get bounced from the advertising. Who's on Pinterest? I want to go the other way on that, besides me. I was on early. And I still have people following me and pinning my pins. I spent about the first 3 months Pinterest was around, and figured out I was going to do Pinterest for business, and I found all sorts of topics like looking for a job, networking, marketing your business, and then I did all of the social media, so I had pin boards for everything. Really interesting way to do things, especially if your business is visual. What about Google Plus? Who's on Google Plus?
Yeah.
Great. Do you guys use it?
Yes.
Not as well.
Yeah, I don't use it a lot. I use it occasionally. It is a business kind of thing, but as you guys know too, Google owns YouTube, and as things continue to grow in different ways, Google is going to be important. Who's on LinkedIn? Everybody? Is anybody not on LinkedIn? What I can't wait to see is what happens now that Microsoft purchased them June 11th.
Wow.
Because there's going to be some major changes. And who's on Instagram? Instagram is also something that's really worth doing, but you can only post from your phone.
That's right.
I guess you can post from your iPad too.
Yeah, of course.
Mobile device.
Mobile devices.
Well, you can't post from your computer. And when you want to, I have enjoyed building collages, but I take my pictures off my phone and put them in iPhoto, and then I don't put them back on my phone to make a collage. So I haven't figured out a process to be able to do all of that, unless I do it right away. What types of things do you guys post on, let's say, Facebook? Any business? Anybody posting business?
Of course.
Good.
Of course.
With business pages?
Business pages.
Blogs. Good. Good. How many people have blogs?
Yep.
Excellent. Excellent. Things about social media that really can impact a small business, and this was really interesting. This was in a class I took last week, actually, and I took the numbers that 15% of people in business have proven the impact of quantitativity in social. 41% haven't been able to show any impact yet, which is interesting. But the really big one was 43% have a good qualitative sense for impact, but not a qualitative sense for impact. And that's really interesting, because social media is a really good place that you can look at ways that you can have customer relationships.
Right.
You can have customer retention. You can reward your clients. And you can do lots of market research. And you can really look at your competition. So those are different types of things that really can make you stand out, but you can also learn a lot about what's going on. And the best way to really increase the value of your products and services is look at what your competition is doing.
That's right.
Look at what other people are doing. Then look at other things that are similar and see if anybody is ahead of the curve. I always like to be ahead of the curve. I try everything before anybody else, which is really funny. And then you want to listen, you want to engage, you want to amplify, you want to solve, you want to innovate, and you want to analyze.
Wow.
Analyzing is really, really important. Did it work? Why did it work? Did it not work? Why didn't it work? But if it's working, you want to amplify it. You want to do it again. You want to try other things to see if you can even get a greater blip in your return on investment. Your expanded social media footprint, and that's something really interesting. The social media is really, and I'm going to say social in general, because what's social about social is it's socially engaging. And the engagement with your clients, and that's really something that all businesses need to do today. People don't go to the old ways of advertising. They'll see ads on television, but that's more about building a brand image, reach, and frequency. You do see promotions tied into it to try and drive the consumer to purchase a product, try a product. You'll see trial. I've done a lot at point of sale because I come out of food and health beauty care categories.